Oui, bonjour Michael. Hello Michael.
Hi, hi.
I'm really pleased to see you today, Michael. You are talking to us, the Conscious Strategist. You are talking to us from Switzerland. Your company is located in Norway. I believe the headquarters is in London, if I'm not mistaken, but the mine is in Norway. So, Michael, I'll let you speak to us about your new company and also about your professional path. So, with no further ado, I'll let you present yourself to our Conscious Strategist group.
Well, thank you very much for having me here. It's a great honor and pleasure to be here and to talk to all the friends of this group. So about myself, my background is I was born and raised in Switzerland. I started my career in a bank, an American bank, and I worked in Germany, in the United States as a trader in the financial market industry. And then I went on my own in the early 90s, worked on various places such in Asia, in Vietnam, in Mongolia, in the Middle East, in the UAE, in Israel. So all over actually, and I was blessed and really lucky to see a little bit the world and to have a very broad network. Started then in the year 2000, in the year 2005, to focus more on project in the mining industry, commodity raw materials in Asia, and I realized that at this time the mining industry was quite difficult in regards of the nature, the climate, sustainability. It was not yet so well established, which was something which disturbed me a lot, and which I'm very happy now that the dynamic that we now see here in the world happening in regards of sustainability, climate protection, also of the environment. I see this dynamic and I like it. And I am very happy to now implement this whole concept, my whole know-how and experience that I've had with myself into that. And I believe today it is important to mention that if you want to do something about the climate and the environment, decarbonization of the future, it will not go without a good mining business, a good strong industry, but of course with a complete different approach.
Yes. So what is your approach, Michael, in Norge? Am I pronouncing the name the good way?
Norge.
Norge. There we go. Norge.
Right.
Okay. So what is the difference between, I would say, a conventional mining company?
Yeah. Well, okay, you have to go to the very beginning. Like a lot of mining companies started their activities in early years, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, even longer. And of course, then the whole environment was a complete different environment. Nobody paid any attention to what kind of work conditions are there, children work, pollution, contamination. We started in Norway, which is a country with the highest level of protection for everything, for the nature, for the climate, also in regards of, let's say, work for employees, strong social laws, which you cannot work more than XYZ hours, etc., etc. So that is very well established. So you start with all these things being a complete normal thing and part of your work. And if you have a focus that you want to do more, then this is the best place to start a mining company. Basically.
It's at the source, right? It's really the natural resources.
Absolutely, and the thing is what I always said: if you want to change something, about the climate, if you want to do something good, the highest leverage is always when you start to dig the stuff out of the ground.
That's true.
There you have the best impact. I mean, it is, imagine when you start to take out raw materials of the ground and you contaminate the ground, you contaminate the climate, you misuse the people by paying them not enough, by exposing them to poisonous material, etc.
Yes.
Imagine the whole value chain becomes rotten.
That's right. That's right.
And it makes it much more difficult to do something against that. And that's why I say always, everything starts always with the raw materials in ground, as well as sustainability. And this is why we will probably have the biggest impact and leverage on that. And I think we have to be mindful on that. We want to be, we are strong about that. And this is one of our raison d'être.
Yes.
That we want to change something. Yes.
And you can tell, I'm sorry, Michael, to interrupt you, but as you say, you know, it's your raison d'être, it's your purpose, as we heard, as we learned it at the Harvard class that we did, the course we did together. It is actually what we see as we come through your website. You know, the message is clear, actually. What we see is really, it's clearly explained, the raw material and what are the reasons you're using it, and it's really well done in terms of education and training, you know, so client and general public can understand the purpose.
It's important to get the message across to the public and to say mining is not a bad thing.
No.
And miners are not bad people, because we are completely on the side of the green parties, of the environmentalists. And you know what? You can make a very nice money with mining and still be completely conscious on the nature and the climate.
Yes.
So, and this whole dynamic and momentum now I like that momentum now, because really you see a lot of companies, industries going into that direction, making it for established raw material companies and commodity companies much more difficult to sell goods from questionable sources. And you know, we had in Switzerland, we had a votation 2 weeks ago. There was a votation about, it was called in German Konzernverantwortungsinitiative. That means that an international raw material company with a head office in Zug cannot anymore in Africa behave like they can do anything what they want. So they will be taken into responsibility. They will have to be responsible for all the bad, negative things that happen. So unfortunately, the law was not passed. However, it doesn't need a law anymore, because this whole thing has changed in the minds of the people. And it's
yes,
the right thing to do. It is the right thing to do. And I think we're on a good path. And it's, you know, it's not only about how you're mining and taking the stuff out of the ground. It's also where do you get your electricity in order to do that, and what kind of products do you mine? What do you get out of the ground? Are these products also able to help change the current situation and to make the world a better place? Are they, or are they not? So, and we have those products. So this is, at the moment, you know, the 2021 will be very strong.
Yes, it's promising. It's promising. As we learn also at the Harvard course we did together, for sustainability, a lot of business are afraid of the approach, of the minding behind the mindset behind sustainability. They think it's tree huggers and crunchy granola, but no, we're really looking into business prosperity. We're looking into not missing any opportunity from using sustainability principle and framework to bring a growth into businesses and make a business thrive into their sectors.
Absolutely. And what was good, I mean, we discussed it before, the whole COVID crisis this year was, I mean, for many people horrible, It was really horrible, but it also forced a lot of businesses to find your new compass. Compass. You have to question yourself and to readjust your focus.
That's
and
right.
A lot of industries have done that in this time. As for us, it was a very strong year, because we were lucky that a lot of services that we needed to buy, let's say drilling, etc., was much cheaper, of course. And but then you choose. When you choose which drill company, you look into their website, which of these ones are following sustainable rules.
Yes, that's right.
So it was right. It was really, this year was quite an important year, and it will in many ways change a lot of things.
In the future, let's talk about what you see in the future, now that we are out of 9, or I would say 10 months almost of pandemic. What do you see in the future for the mining and sustainable sectors?
Okay, geography.
Oh yeah.
Means, to give an example, now in the COVID crisis, the West, Europe, have seen how fragile those supply chains are.
Yes.
In a pandemic, for instance, where everything got disrupted. And everything you buy from China, a lot of things came from Asia, and they were completely disrupted. So when I'm talking about the future and I say geography means also to secure the access to raw materials, which is important. Looking to the most closest place where you can source those raw materials, making your let's say the transport distance is much shorter.
Yes.
Much better CO2 balance. So all these things play into one another. I think also geographically talking is about when you're sourcing your raw materials. Am I sourcing it from a country with a questionable sustainable background or questionable political background? You will be much more conscious as an industrial, as a company, as a CEO, when you start to buy your commodities, your raw materials. So you will rather buy it from Europe rather than from another continent, from sub-Saharan Africa, for instance, just because of many reasons, because of environmental reasons, because of distance as well, etc. And also we see now that a lot of countries in Europe, in the European Union, are very keen to reduce the transport ways.
Yes.
So if you're buying vanadium or phosphate and you ship it from Norway by train to Germany, CO2 footprint is a much smaller one than when you ship it by ship from China through half of the planet. So these are all things which are now falling in place, and this will also determine the future of mining.
Of course, and it just makes sense if you think about it. Sometimes it's going back to traditional thinking also, of doing stuff closer to home. How about reporting? Would you give us just an idea of any reporting that the mining industry needs to use? Do you have to? Is it something that is considered an obligation right now? I know Norway is quite advanced compared to other countries in a matter of reporting and some framework they're using in the international framework.
I think reporting is important. Why must banks do the reporting about money laundering, and why does that not apply to the commodity industry? Why not? And it's important. I mean, if you're transferring money from A to B, every bank will question, where does the money come from? What is the source of the money? Why did you make the money? Who is the person that made the money, etc., etc. Why does this not apply yet to the commodity? It will.
Yes.
It will. Eventually, it will. And so provenance is important. Where is the commodity originated from? You see?
Yeah.
So there is this word blood diamond.
Mm-hmm.
This has something to do with provenance, where origination, where is the product coming from? Mm-hmm. So if you have conflicted zones where you are importing like these diamonds, for instance, where is a heavy war going on, of course nobody will buy it. Same will apply also to the commodity. It will come. Yes. And then you have certain rules which you have to report. It's like let's say for accounting standards like US GAAP. As a company, you have to do these reports. Something same will happen also now with commodities. So important is where the commodity comes from, how was it sourced, what kind of money was used to source it, how were the working conditions for the people,
the employee,
the employees, what are the transport ways from your mine to the next port, etc., etc. So that will be a standard which for sure will be established in the nearest future. That is the future, I think, of mining, yes.
Yes, it makes, in every sector, as you said, it's very important to be able to measure. So when we want to measure by reporting. So as we were talking before the interview, there's a lot of new alliance around the geography and the geology also of mining. So you see that it's a new trend that companies and sectors wants to gather to contribute?
Yeah, companies, regions as well. For instance, what we are now experiencing now is we are on very close contact with the European Union, for instance.
Yes.
This is a cooperation which is now being established and which is growing simply because the European Union has a problem with raw materials, sourcing of raw materials. They are sourcing the raw materials from Asia, from China, from Russia, from Kazakhstan. They want to be completely independent, but they cannot.
I see.
So now there comes this mining company in Norway, which is it's in Europe, and it's not in the EU though, but it's in Europe, and it is giving the EU also the possibility to plan for the future. In particular because of the size of our reserves. It's a generation project, so it's good for an entity like the EU, a region like Europe, to plan for the future. So these kind of associations and these kind of corporations are coming now, definitely. Most of the, let's say, the mining will be probably associated to regional things, because you want to be close to your supplier, just because you cannot anymore run the risk of disrupted supply chains.
That's right.
So these are all things which are now taking place, and you see corporations now coming into reality between not only regions and mining companies, but also mining companies and industries.
Yes.
Companies. So I see that as a trend which is quite dynamic at the moment. Yes.
Yes, as you said, it's dynamic, and we know it's one of the criteria to make sure that we live into a democratic and also inclusive mentality for private corporation, and also to bring all the politic aspect into the equation.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. So yeah.
Thank you so much, Michael. This is very, and I would say instructive in French. I would say it's very informative. It's very good information for our conscious strategists that are coming from diverse continents, but also from diverse business sectors. So this is very very useful in terms of how is it working in your sector, and how can we learn from it to implement into a different sector, into the business. So thank you so much, and I know we will talk in 2021 in certain specific article that will be published around the mining sector. So I'm looking forward to continue the conversation. Thank you for sharing your bright experience into the business and also towards the mining industry. So thank you for bringing all this together and making a sustainable mining company. This is wonderful.
Thank you so much for having me again, and thank you very much also for this for the good questions, for exciting questions. It's an exciting time, and it's really nice to share it with all the friends of this network. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Michael, and looking forward for 2021 to speak with you.
Looking forward. All the best. Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you, Michael. Bye bye. Bonne journée. Au revoir.
Merci.